Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael Lee Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, Palmers Syndrome, and Carta.
I'm sorry. Are you going to be okay?
I think so. I don't really know what Palmers Syndrome is, but I think I'll be all right.
Yeah. Are you sure?
I don't really know what it is or the symptoms unless I have like a sign telling me what they are, but I don't know too much about it.
Yeah. Well, the first sign of finding out what it is finding a sign that tells you what the symptoms are.
Yeah. While trying to cockblock coworker.
Coworker cockblock. That's
yes. It sounds like a bad porn.
Yes.
Film.
It's coming out next year. And actually, it's coming out in like 30 minutes because that's
okay.
You make then the sequel will be out like in an hour because
how
fast they filmed though. Anyways, so anyways, today on the show we are looking at another Brit-com, as I call them, another British sitcom. This one, a series from 2012, called Bad Education, or Jack Whitehall's Bad Education, as it's also called. It's a British show that was on the BBC. It's had 4 series so far, or seasons, whatever you want to call it, and it stars Jack Whitehall, who is a comedian and actor and everything. He's pretty good. He's done a lot of other stuff. He's got a lot of stand-up out there. He's done other series. He's like been on some American shows and movies and stuff too now. So yeah, he's pretty getting pretty popular, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only like 30 or something. 30 something. So yeah. He's not that old. When he was doing this show, he was like 23 when he created it. So yeah, he created the show. The first episode, which we're covering, aired on August 14th of 2012. It's called Parents' Evening. Directed by Ben Gosling Fuller and written by Jack Whitehall and Ben Cavey. Yeah. So, all right. First initial feelings on this show here, Sesame.
I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah. Me too. I think this is one of the better shows we've actually covered in the whole history of our podcast.
Yeah.
And I like covering things that are not like horrible.
Yeah, it's nice on occasion to not force ourselves to watch something just terrible and just something that, and plus too, watching something that's British kind of made me feel like a little bit like cultured in a way, like I'm watching
even though it's not really cultured stuff. Yes, every time I watch Benny Hill, I think to myself,
exactly.
I am really smart. Wait, no.
I mean, I wouldn't say this show itself is very sophisticated, but,
no. There's just something with us as Americans, and I'm sure any of our British listeners would be able to, tell us this. If we just somehow, with the British accent, we think people are smarter.
He just sounds different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the old school voice, even though we probably sound more like people did back when the British actually settled the Americas.
It's probably a remnant of British imperialism where we just associate that as being like superior, you know what I mean? Like maybe just like we inherited that kind of idea, you know, like
it's the whole idea that we've had as a society forever, where when somebody's older or a country's older, they're wiser.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that it's true, because you have people like, you know, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi and stuff like that are really just need to hang it up.
Anyways, no, exactly. I mean, it's just just kind of and like, you know, it depends on the accent too, because there's some British accents that to me do not sound intelligent at all.
Like Cockney accents and stuff like that are more guttural. They're kind of like in ways equivalent to like our Southern accent, which people find stupid, even though a lot of people in the South are very smart, you know? So
no, totally exactly. Yeah. So, but it's something about it, just like watching something from a different country, it just feels, I don't know, maybe just because my life is so boring living here in Ohio that like just watching something from another country feels like taking a trip there or something like that. I don't know.
I agree. I mean, and this was a good show. I mean, and it made you feel like, oh, this is just it's kind of a slice of life sort of like thing where it's just like, but it's still hilarious. Reminded me of, I mean, I don't want to promote too much or anything, but of a certain sitcom that starred a certain guy from another sitcom that took place in Toledo.
Yeah. Yeah, you know. And if you could drive the Toledo to the other town in Philadelphia, which, you know, it'd be about a 6-hour drive maybe.
Yes. So
yes.
Yeah. I guess I could probably say the actor's name.
I think we're allowed to.
Glenn Howerton starred in a show that's very similar to this.
Yeah.
In certain ways, but not totally. Like the teacher had a kind of similar outlook on education, you know. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's verboten like saying Voldemort. They can't say the name. Like,
no, I know. I'm just being kind of funny here. But while we're on the subject though, because this is probably being released during the writers and actors strike, the WGA, and the SAG-AFTRA strikes. Check out our show notes. There's there's like a fund that I have listed in there. This entertainers fund. I think it's Entertainers Fund out in California that helps people that are out of work right now because of the strikes, not just the writers and the actors, but also like grips and catering and, you know, people like that are on sets that right now aren't working because there's no work to be had, you know? So, and helps them to be able to feed their families and pay their rent and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Because it's really super important, because the studios are demons essentially, and they openly admitted that their plan is to literally starve them out until they can't like deal with the strike anymore. Like
which is ridiculous, because like Warner Discovery has lost tons of money. I can't remember the exact number, but lost so much money that it's more than they've lost more money than they would have made if there was no strike.
Yeah, because at this point it's just about control and punishing,
and a lot more money than what they would have to pay the writers and stuff. So
it's all about control. It's the price of admission. See, I always go back to this idea. It's like a lot of people don't seem to understand. Like, oh well, why would someone do something against their own interest? It's like, but it's not against their own interest. It's that they made a calculation in their mind of what they're willing to give up in order to receive, like, I give up A to receive B. Well, okay, it's like, I kind of like the people who are like, oh, why would someone vote against their own economic interest if blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, because they hate other groups of people, and this allows them to say that they hate groups of people. So yeah, they're going to lose a few dollars to do that, but they've decided in their mind that being able to publicly hate other people is more important to them than the money at that point. So no, they didn't actually go against their own interests. It's just that their interests are different than what you assume that they think their interests should be. And it's hard to kind of get in the footsteps of other people and to like think how they would think. So it's like these studios in a very similar way are like yeah, we said it was about the money, or maybe it was about the money at first, but now I just want to punish these fuckers. You know what I mean?
It's like I saw a video the other day, and this has nothing to do with the strike at all, but it talks about it, but it's emblematic of how this country is when it comes to wealth and not caring about, you know, middle class or poor people or anything of that nature. Where there was this lady, she walked by, I think it was in Philadelphia or something. I watched this I think I saw it on TikTok or something, where she walked by a shoe store there that's like one of these, it was like a shoe brand. I don't remember what brand it is, but one of these like fancier like tennis shoe brands. Not like a big one like Nike or something, but one of these like, you know, fashionable ones. That had thrown out a bunch of shoe boxes in front of their store to be picked up in the trash. And what she saw when she walked by the store was a bunch of shoes laying on the ground. And then she found the guy that did this. The guy took all the shoes out of the shoe boxes and laid them down in front of the store. The shoes had been cut like in half and stuff like that, or cut down places so nobody could wear them.
Yeah.
So like if homeless people found them in the trash, they couldn't wear them.
Exactly. It's because they want to discourage people from going through the trash, etc.
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is like, you have these very well-made, perfectly fine shoes. Why can't you donate them to a homeless shelter?
Yeah.
I know. Or to something, you know, or like some kind of charity of some sort. I mean, even if you want to, you know, but it was like, it's just like how when I used to work at Blockbuster Video, they would make us on camera destroy movies that we had access of. And I always said, can't we just like give these to like, you know, like there's like homeless shelters and like shelters for like abused mothers and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, they've got their kids and I'm sitting here destroying a Disney movie. Like, why can't we just give these Disney movies to the you know, women and children's shelter to help, you know, take care of you know, something that they can watch when they're in there or something, you know, or like there's like, or there was, we had a charity thing one time when we were there. I know I'm going off topic completely here, but it was like, there was a charity thing that we had where people could come in, buy a movie, and then put it in this box and donate it to military people overseas so they had something to watch while they were overseas.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I was throwing away movies, and I'm just like, can't we just give all of these to the military?
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, no, we have to legally destroy these, and I'm like, this makes no sense. And that's not just Blockbuster making people do that. That's like the studios going back to this whole thing where they don't want their movies out there unless somebody's paying for them.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
You know, it's okay for a customer to buy a movie off the shelf and donate it, but no, they can't. We can't give a rental copy of Toy Story 3 to, you know, the military to watch or something. You know what I mean? It's just stupid.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways,
just policies, they're all like this. Just this, yeah. It's very callous and. But whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
but anyways, donate money to that charity. We have other charities on there too for lots of causes, because this world. I mean, during the pandemic started adding charities to our show notes, and thought, okay, I'll just do this during the pandemic. But then I just realized this world's fucked regardless of what we're going through.
Yeah.
So we need to have charities there. I change them up every so often, but you know. I never get rid of a charity. I usually add charities unless I find out something bad about a charity I had on there. But
yeah,
you know, but I've vetted all the charities that we have on there, and they're all good. And you know, there's things like the Trevor Project for people, you know, in the LGBTQ community. There's you know, Black Lives Matter, you know, things of that nature that you can donate to that will help people in this country that are, you know, underprivileged and things of that nature. So it. You know, or you know, people that are punched down on from the fucking riches who wouldn't give the scraps off their plate to them, So it's just, yeah. Oh, fuck America. Fuck the United States. Fuck the world. Fuck everything. Fuck humans. Okay, anyway, so...
Oh.
Not all of them. Just the, eat the rich people.
Yeah, just like they're really... Yeah. But not the British people in this show, though, because they were pretty cool.
Yeah, they were. So anyways, back to the show. What happens What happens in Parents' Evening, the pilot episode of Bad Education?
So, it's really goofy, like you said too. Like, I was kept thinking of, like, I feel like I've seen this show before, and then he reminded me, oh no, it's like that show based in Toledo, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably what it is. I probably saw something similar to it, and then, so like he's like this young teacher, it was weird because he's like getting bullied by some of the students of the school that he teaches at.
Oh yeah,
which I thought was kind of weird. The headmistress, I'm thinking.
She was actually the vice. The head teacher is Mr. Mr. Fraser, who we find out actually in later episodes, and that's Mathew Horne's character. He's the other teacher who has a crush on this one teacher, but basically his like basically like the equivalent of a vice principal is Pickwell, played by Michelle Gomez, and but Mathew Horne, I think it's funny, his character's name is Shaquille Fraser. So
it just it was show with very goofball, like oddball stuff, like, and so like he goes in to his class, he's drunk, he's basically hungover and shit, very very similar to the show based in Toledo.
Yeah, and he's and he's like 23 years old, so he's not much older than the kids he's teaching, so he's like they're of the same generation. So
it's like he's sort of like the older brother-ish kind of like like someone that they sort of look up to, but it's not like totally like out of there. I don't know, it's something like that. And it's like, and by the way, the school's kind of like one of their fancier schools, like they wear uniforms and stuff, like
but I mean, I don't know if all schools wear uniforms there too. A lot of public schools in the United States wear uniforms too. So
I didn't know that.
In more recent years,
and so like this, like the class likes them because they pretty much don't really have to do like any work in that class because it's always just like making shit up. Like they got this game called Class Wars, where they like reenact stuff from like World War II. Yeah. And of course he has the Asian girl wear the emperor thing, and the one kid's like, she's Chinese. Like, I know.
Yeah.
It's like
I also found it funny when they showed the whiteboard behind him, it said it had his Twitter handle on there.
It did? Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah. It said follow me on Twitter and had his Twitter handle.
Right.
And then underneath it he wrote like hangover class.
That's right. Yeah. So he's just kind of like a goofball teacher. He doesn't really teach him anything necessarily. He doesn't want to grade papers because the vice principal, who like they keep making these jokes about her being a Nazi because she's like very stern looking and that kind of thing. And he's like, did anyone ever tell you make a good SS officer? She's like, yes. And she wants him to. Oh, that's the other thing too. So like, one of the students is like this kid who's like, he later on we find this whole thing where he's like, the guy wants him to pretend that his mom's dying of this weird disease. Anyway, but like the
character Joe, he asks him to do something, check the first aid kit to see if there's like any like aspirin in or something, and he says, "Okay, Dad." Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, I called him Dad.
Yeah.
But then we get this really creepy thing where one of the students, she's kind of like, what they call a slag, I guess, in Britain.
Yeah.
He's like seriously flirting with the dude, like say some weird shit about like fractions.
She's like, my maths teacher says that 23 can't go into 15. I think.
God, I'm like, oh my God. And, He's like, yeah, we'll see about that. And I'm like, oh boy. And like, I don't know if they got like a Chris Hansen person in Britain or not, but like, but no, he did not take the bait. So I'm putting that clear, but turns out her mom's kind of like that too. So that's where she gets it from. Cause I'm jumping ahead. There's so many things that happen. Like, it's a really jam-packed, a lot of British shows, they don't have as many episodes as American shows do, but a lot more happens in these shows, like, to me. There's more, the pacing seems to be better in a lot of the British shows than American shows, probably because they know they're not going to have as many episodes as American shows tend.
Yeah, because when you have 23 episodes a season or something, you can like basically have filler episodes where basically nothing happens, or like the thing they used to do all the time in like the 80s and stuff was you had your bottle episodes, and then you also had your flashback episodes after the show's been on a couple years. And my favorite thing was there was a sketch on that show that is on Saturday nights on that one network that airs live. Back in the 80s, they had I'm just playing up this whole thing. I can probably say names of shows, not get in trouble, but I'm just gonna. Anyway, so they had this thing where it was a takeoff on those things where they would have a flashback into a previous episode of the show, and then within that flashback, they would have a flashback to another previous episode, and so on and so on and so on, like a Russian doll where it just kept going back.
Yep.
So that was pretty funny. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, you can have all these things, but so in this episode, what else happens here?
So she's the vice principal's gonna fail all the kids unless he basically grades their papers, which,
Yeah, and it was like their mock exams. I don't know what a mock exam is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. And so, it's going to take him like 3 hours. And of course, he doesn't want to do it because he's lazy or whatever. And so he has the idea to have the kids themselves grade each other's papers. And then there's this one point too where he's like, there's this other teacher that he's really likes and wants to date. And he like put his mail in her, what they call a pigeonhole or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, to try to get her attention or whatever. And then she says like, her boyfriend broke up with her and stuff like that. And, if she wants like, pity sex, then she'll go to him or whatever. And he's like, oh, I can't do it Thursday though, because it's my dad's birthday. He's taking us to his or something like that.
Yeah.
And then this old lady teacher comes up to him. He's like, oh, your mail was in my pigeon. Like, oh, like that's gonna work or whatever. There's lots of these little fun, like just my favorite line though is when at one point, the whole thing with the Palmers Syndrome, she's doing some like charity event for Palmers Syndrome, and he claims that the kid's mom from his class, the one that got the aspirin for him, has it and stuff, and like the kid kind of looks to him as like a father figure or whatever. So then when she comes to class, he tells him to hide in like the cupboard, and then he's like, "Can I come out now?" And she's like, "What is that?" Like, "Oh, that's we're talking about apartheid South Africa. That's Nelson Mandela." He's like, "It's 1989. Okay, you still got a year there. You got to book the right."
Yeah, stay in there. You got to book the right.
It's just like so insensitive, but like, I don't know. Yeah, lots of good stuff like that in the episode.
Yeah, Palmer Syndrome is actually there's actually Palmer Pagan Syndrome, which is a rare congenital it's a rare multiple congenital anomalies dysmorphic syndrome characterized by congenital hydrocephalus involving the lateral ventricles, low set umbilicals. Yeah, anyways, this is all like shit I can't understand.
Yeah.
But basically it sounds like it's kind of like more like a congenital disease of some sort that basically there's not that many in the world. So
yeah, they say like
it's a very rare. Yeah.
Yeah, it said it affects 1 in 6 million people in the world or something like that. And, but there's just so many. It's hard to talk about because there's so many good one-liners in this episode.
Oh yeah,
different characters. That's hard. I should have wrote some of the stuff down.
Yeah, I mean, but basically, what we have is that so he has to mark all these papers, and he or basically everybody in the class is going to fail, and there's the parents' night that night, which is like a parent-teacher conference sort of thing, and basically what ends up happening is he tries to have all the kids grade each other's papers, and Miss Pickwick or whatever her name is finds that out, and basically fails everybody in the class. And Mr. Wickers, the Jack Whitehall's character, has to tell all the parents that the kids have failed, basically. And you see these, like, you know, all the parents, and it does remind me of that other show where, you know, the interaction with the teacher and the parents and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, the one girl's mom starts flirting with him and like putting her feet on his genital area.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I will say that, like, out of the cast, I think that girl and Nikki Runeckles, who played Chantelle, was probably of the kids, like, the most, like, vibrant of the characters. I mean, in certain ways, her and I think Joe, the kid who was put in the cupboard. I mean, you also had you got Layton. That Joe is played by Ethan Lawrence, and then you've got Layton Williams was your, like, kind of stereotypical flamboyantly gay kid.
Yeah, he was sitting next to Chantelle.
Yeah,
when they were playing class.
He's one of his character is one of the teachers in the new series, because the show was on for 3 series or seasons with Jack Whitehall, and then there was a movie, and then they had a reunion movie on TV, and now the show is focused without Jack Whitehall, and there's focused on new kids, and Steven and Mitchell are 2 new teachers at the school. So they were students and now they're teachers. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, during the scene where what's the teacher's name? The one he has a crush on? I forgot her name.
She is Miss Gulliver.
Yeah.
Rosie. Yeah.
Yeah. When Rosie, you know, when she came into the classroom, they had the seats facing each other. He's like, well, why do you have the seats facing each other? Oh, we're doing. And then on the signs, I noticed on the second time, it says, on one side it says blacks, the other one says whites.
Yeah.
But I think one of the black students was sitting in the white section.
Yeah.
It's just like these little things, like you kind of like miss, like, you know.
It's a good show to rewatch the episodes. I think I want to watch all the episodes of this show if I can find them.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
It is on YouTube, so, you know, this episode, you can watch it there, and I'm sure there's other ones. Maybe we'll cover another episode or 2 in the future.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind doing that. But anyways, so basically, he's trying to, you know, win over Rosie, and he basically lies to her about Joe's mom having Palmers Syndrome. And so then we have this parents' night later on, and he's basically trying to, you know, cock block his coworker, as we said earlier, and And he basically, says all that, and he was trying to get to be involved in the whole Palmers Syndrome thing and everything with her, but she's doing like all the research and stuff with Shaquille Fraser. I just find it hilarious that his name is Shaquille.
I know.
But so at the event, at the parents' night, Miss Gulliver comes up on stage and is talking about the thing, and then starts. Well, at one point though, she talks to Joe, and Joe freaks out and says that his mom died.
Yeah.
So she's talking up on stage about how the whole thing, how bad the disease is, and that you sometimes don't live past 30, and blah blah blah, and then talks about how that Joe's mom had passed away. Mrs. Poulter had passed away, and then Mrs. Poulter is there, and she's like, she has not passed away, and then it's like, and then Alfie's trying to like hide the whole thing, but anyways, he ends up basically it gets found out that she didn't really die. It's like, I know she didn't die because I'm her. And then he talks about and then Joe says something about how Alfie's like the dad he never had. And then his dad speaks up, and he's like, "But you have a dad."
I know.
And so it was a pretty funny episode overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see where this series goes. But yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it was a really good pilot episode. Usually, you could tell if the show's got really crappy pilots, probably not, going to be that good,
There are some shows, I usually give a show like 3 or 4 episodes before I decide if it's a good show or not, because there have been shows in the past where the pilot was horrible, but then it ends up being like one of the most popular like television shows of all time, and you're just
oh wow,
because there's shows that I love where I'll just skip the pilot because they're still trying to figure out what they're doing, so yeah.
But I don't know, this was just really good, and I like the ending too, where he's Joe's like, "You want to play some video games or something like that?" At the end, like, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that again, he says. I think the humor in the whole thing is like when he says again.
Yeah, exactly. He's like wait.
Like this is something that they do regularly, so that's kind of,
because he's like basically like a fucking teenager.
Yeah.
Because there's this other thing too where like when Miss Pickwick, by the way, she's
Pickwell. There we go. That's it. Yeah,
sorry, not Pickwick.
No, I said that earlier by mistake too, but yeah.
So like in her office, there's actually it looks like there is like an SS like a thing or like political, and by her on her wall it has a thing that says behave, obey, and work. So it says bow, basically. And,
and it's like a cross stitch thing on the wall too.
Yeah. And so I thought that was kind of funny too. This character is kind of like the
thing I like about it being a cross stitch is because cross stitch is not something you usually buy somewhere. It's something that somebody makes.
Exactly. So
either she made it or she had somebody cross stitch it for her. That's why I think it's a subtle thing, but it's just hilarious.
Yeah,
that implication there. Yeah,
it's behave, obey, and work, or bow. Like, she is such a like authoritarian. She even looks like how you would imagine like a female SS person would. I mean, she's wearing like all black.
Yeah,
like she's got this like.
I mean, with it being cross stitch and stuff, it kind of reminds me of those things you'll find in like old ladies' homes that say "live, laugh, love" or something. But
yeah, exactly.
But this is like the evil version of that.
They behave, obey, and work.
Yeah.
And of course, you have this thing about how she's got bigger balls than he does, which nowadays might not translate great because of transphobia in England being really bad. But back then, 10 years ago, may have been more of a funny little
Yeah,
joke.
well, even the word balls is kind of like it's become synonymous with guts in certain ways, you know.
No, I know.
It's like not the,
but just the way she was like, because she said something about like 3. It's like, wait, now you got 3 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
There was another thing that she said, something about farting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where it was something about like, you know, when I fart I poo or something. I poop.
Oh, she says when like something like when you fart you don't poop or something, but when I fart I follow through or something.
Yeah.
Like, like what the hell? And
yeah.
But I don't know why I'm yelling into the phone. It's weird, but like I do like the character of Shaquille. I want to see more of him because he's very goofy kind of character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good cast overall too. I mean, the kids are good too. I mean, most of them. Yeah. It will be interesting to see where this goes if we watch any more episodes or anything. If you listen to this and you want us to watch more, let us know. You know. Also, like if you live in Great Britain and the show is on, you know, like a decade ago or whatever, let us know if you watched it there. I heard it had like, you know, it was pretty popular. It wasn't like, you know, a big hit, but it was pretty popular on TV over there. So
that's cool.
Yeah, they were developing at one point an American version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in 2014, and it would have starred Jack Whitehall.
Okay.
Where is it? There was a pilot was supposedly shot, or pilot adaptation for a U.S. adaptation of Bad Education named An American Education was ordered by one of the networks I'm not going to mention. With Whitehall set to reprise his role as Alfie. The pilot began filming in Los Angeles on January 2014. However, the network I'm not mentioning passed on the pilot on May 22nd, 2014. Whitehall would continue with the original, and then he went on to continue with the original U.S. show. I had read basically it was going to be like he was moving to San Francisco or something for some reason and became a teacher in a school there.
Okay.
And had a similar relationship with the kids there or something, which I could see why that wouldn't transfer over well. But
yeah,
I mean, Jack Whitehall's good, but it's just like, you know, taking the other characters away would just kind of be stupid. In my opinion, a lot of times when they try to remake a show from a foreign country, either taking an American show and trying to remake it in Great Britain or vice versa, sometimes you get, you know, a show that'll work, but a lot of times you get like shows that don't make it past the pilot. There's just something lost in translation sometimes, you know, and I think a lot of times it would just be like, why don't we just air the British version?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the same way.
I can see why not, because sometimes, you know, they don't want to, you know. People are afraid that people are going to be like, oh, I don't understand that accent, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand these English folk.
I don't know what them people be saying over there with the stuff and the words and the phrases and whatnot, you know.
Like, yeah, it kind of reminds me of when we reviewed the British version of that 70s show.
Oh, yeah.
But lately has gotten more, you know, interest for obvious reasons lately.
Yeah, if you want to know what those are, just look up Danny Masterson.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that failed,
but, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but I remember that one was just like they were like going to see some band called like Cockney Rebel. Which
yeah,
like
it was that one was actually what they did is they took the pilot episode of the original show and just did it in Great Britain. They just changed things to make them, you know, like changed words like gas to petrol and, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. Just like, you know, localized it, but that was it, you know. So, but it was the exact same plot and everything.
Like the script, was like the same thing. And identical. What was that called? It was like Days Go By or something, or
Days Like These.
Oh, Days Like These, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to listen to that episode, it's with it. You can find it on our feed here, or anywhere you get podcasts.
Anywhere.
Yes.
Any site ever exists.
And if you can't find it, just go outside and yell, and I'll answer you.
You just like send the file over or something, and then
in the
like
air.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send it in the clouds. Oh wait, no.
Sure. I don't think the cloud works that way. I think.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, it's not like an actual cloud. It's just
Shit, I've been putting all my files on these thumb drives and just throwing them up in the air.
Well, I hate to break it to you, they probably fell down on the ground and got ran over by a lawnmower or something. So
damn it.
Yeah. Or got eaten by a hog. Or not eaten, but taken by a hog. Or
damn it, that great screenplay I wrote is gone now.
Pretty sure some owl loves it. Or
I bet you that owl's gonna make it, and there's gonna be like we're gonna find out that the owl's now part of the AMPTP and is taking advantage of a bunch of writers and people like yep.
The all-seeing owl,
Yep.
It looks the Bohemian Grovers were right about the owl being an evil statue that they sacrifice people to, according to Alex Jones and stuff. The owls are evil, bro. Don't trust.
Speaking of evil animals, before we go here, I gotta tell people this because I gotta share it with people. The other night I came home from work, and I was getting a ride. My dad was dropping me off, and I saw what I thought was a cat. And I said I was going to tell him, watch out for that cat. And then we realized it was a huge fucking skunk.
Oh, God.
It scared the fuck out of me. This thing was big, too, and fast. It's like...
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I never really thought of skunks being fast, but yeah.
It was, because we went around the block, and it was like already... It beat us to the one street.
Wow.
And we were in a car. So it was like, it was weird. It was crazy. And I was afraid to go outside after.
Yeah.
I mean, I have nothing against skunks except for the fact that I don't want to get sprayed by one.
Yeah, you don't want that smell stays in you. I mean,
yeah.
Your clothes, you got to pretty much just throw them out and then.
Yeah. And I was also afraid of it, like, hopping up on my porch and then coming into my house and then like, crawling up in my bed with me or something.
Exactly. And it's like, no, you can't sleep here with me. Sorry, gotta go.
I mean, I haven't had anybody smelly in my bed in years. I mean, it's like, wait, what? Okay, anyways, people, so overall, that was a great episode. If there's any other kind of British shows that you want us to cover during the strike, because we can't really cover American products, just let us know. British, Australian, Canadian, anything, maybe even shows with subtitles from countries that don't speak English, but I'd prefer stuff that's in the language I speak. So just because it's easier to understand, kind of. If you have anything like that, suggestions, just let us know. Send me a message at mike@cullenpark.com and we'll consider those suggestions. Also, be sure to check out our TeePublic. You can buy some merchandise there. Check out our Patreon. We're working on like some things, like some special things for anybody that joins to, give you some like extra content and stuff of that nature. Also, check out all of our social media, our X, our Y, our Z. Oh wait, no, those aren't things, are they?
No.
Okay. Our TikTok, our Facebook, our, Instagram. You can check out, look for either All2Real2 or Cullen Park, and you can get all the information at those locations. But anyways, anything else you want to say before we go here, sir?
Yes, just happy birthday to Techno Mechanicus, which is apparently, I don't know if it's his birthday or not, but Elon Musk apparently has a third child with X Rhymes.
Yeah.
X, because now they're in a quote fluid relationship, so I don't know if that how that means.
I thought him and Grimes divorced.
Yeah, but now Grimes says they're in a fluid relationship, so who knows? It's two weird people who are weird for the sake of being weird. But yeah, they have a child now, third child called Technomechanicus. So
was this child just born?
No, they just kept it under wraps, didn't tell anyone about it.
Mm-hmm.
So good on you being born to people who name their children like XAY and Technomechanicus. And
Elon does have a trans child that he doesn't have anything to do with anymore. So
right, because she doesn't want anything to do with him. So just
yeah,
good luck. I mean, you're born into wealth, so I guess you can get in some good therapy with that money, and
you're gonna need it.
You're gonna need it very much so, and best of luck to you. And during that time, maybe check out the show, and you might like it. It might bring some levity to your mind and make you laugh, and I don't know, perhaps make you want to move to Britain, far, far away from your biological father, rather,
or just listen to our podcast.
Listen to us, Technomechanicus.
Yes,
when you're older.
Mm-hmm.
By this point, we probably on episode 3000 at that point. But by
that point, it'll be the AI versions of us hosting the show.
Yes, exactly. Well, just that's the other thing I realized of how much of our voices are now in public. So if I'm to do I never really thought about that until the other day. I was there's literally hours upon hours of us talking on the internet. If they wanted to use our voice to make it AI, we would have so much to work with, for inflections and how we pronounce certain words. Even sometimes they got me singing on here occasionally. I mean,
it can happen.
So yeah,
I mean they've done that. I mean, I remember somebody uploaded this was a year or two ago, an AI version of Joe Rogan Experience, where it sounded pretty close, but you could still tell it wasn't really Joe talking. So it was just not quite right, but they're getting there. So
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. So anyways, I guess that's all for now,
Yep.
Folks, just remember one thing that I love you. Sesame loves you. That skunk who was in my neighborhood loves you.
Mm-hmm.
The owl who stole my screenplay loves you.
Technomechanicus loves you, probably.
Yes. And until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Mathew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.